Folks, welcome in to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the DFS Bachelor, and look at this ugly bastard here to the, I guess it's to your right, my boy Dion Boykin. Look, we're going to talk hockey. This is how we're going to do our WNBA shows as well. Lots and lots of cool stuff, and I'm really excited to have this new live format. We're going to do a lot of stuff this way. It's going to change how we do a lot of things. And I'm just trying to make sure. It's my first time using StreamYard here on my own, so I'm making sure it's all working. A big shout out to you guys. Join us in the chat box. Matt, Kid the God, Tiburon, Keegster. What up, guys? Thank you all so much. So this show today is going to be two parts. We've got the NHL opening up on Wednesday. Dion is our hockey expert, and I'm excited to talk hockey. Once we're done talking hockey, the 5 games on Wednesday, we'll go over some NBA plays for today, and I'm kind of glad it's later. We've had a game postponed already, etc. So a lot of stuff to get to. Dion, my brother from another mother. Yeah, we talk all the time. This is really cool. New format. I love how it's working and looking so far. How are you doing today, man?
Man, I am great, bro. Like I told you before we got on, I'm happy to be back in the trenches, be back grinding some type of sport, a sport that I know and I love. So I'm really ready, beyond ready.
Me too, man. This is going to be a great time. Real quick, for those of you two NBA people, if you look in the video description, I have my player pool set on Draft Dashboard. We'll obviously have that set for hockey as well. You can get access to that 30 days for $1. Click that link, hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate all that. And thanks for joining us. This is our inaugural live broadcast through this system. The channel is changing a lot. We're going to have guests on. We'll be doing more baseball, more WNBA, because now we can go live anytime you want. I don't have to get up at 4 a.m. and it gets to be a little tedious. This is beautiful. I'm really excited. Thank you all so much for coming in the chat box. And hey, by the way, ask your questions. And happy to get into it. So let's jump right in. We're going to go over some hockey bets as well. We'll talk about the betting lines, all that stuff right in here. So really excited. So let's get started with the first game in rotation. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. You've got an implied total here of 6. Philly favored by 1.5 goals. Dion, what do you like in this game?
Man, so first things first, let me just let y'all in on something else. We're gonna have articles, we're gonna have some cheapskates. If you follow me from doing hockey over at RPS, then you know how I'm coming. I'm coming with everything that you can use. My cheapskates are coming back. We're gonna have top stacks, contrarian stacks, sneaky low on stacks. Man, so trust me, you don't want to miss out because I won't go over everything. I'm leaving a lot of information for the site. So that's the only place you can get it is on Draft Dashboard. Like he said, try 30 days for $1. So let's talk hockey.
Pittsburgh, Philly.
Let's do that hockey. All right. So starting out, I like this game. Honestly, we seen these two teams play a lot last year. I think doing my initial research, these teams don't like. Let me see. I don't think there was like a ton of goals scored between these two teams last year. We seen one game where Pitt put it on them 7 goals. But I do like that top line coming from Pitt. Of course, Sid the Kid. They got Rodriguez on the top line with Gunsel, and then Letang. I really do like that top line coming from Pittsburgh. But if I'm looking at a stack that I want to play, it's probably going to be Philly. That power play unit, Couturier, Voracek, Drew. Like I really do love that pairing there for Philly. If I'm looking at any place that I want to really attack, like I said, it's that Philly power play unit. Really like that unit. They play really well together. They skate really well together, and we saw them light it up last year. Philly wasn't, I believe, was in top 10 or close to top 10 in points last year. Matter of fact, I got it pulled up. Give me just a second. Where were they in points last year? Yeah, sitting at number 6. So do not sleep on Philly. I know we love Pitt just because of the name and Sid the Kid, but really, really, really like that power play unit for Philly.
I love that. Just, this is always something that because look, I don't know jack shit about hockey. You know that. I know a little bit, and I'm following more and more, and I love to play the lines.
Mm-hmm.
When we're looking at the goalies for each team, do we even have an idea who's going to start first game, DeSmith or Jerry for Pitt? Is there a goalie in the team with some upside, or are we looking?
Right now, we don't really have starters. I mean, you got projected starters, but normally what it is you watch the teams for morning skates. This is what I love about hockey is that the morning of the game, after the morning skate, you normally know, with the exception of the late games, you normally know who the goalie is going to be. It's normally the first goalie that's off the ice that morning for morning skate. They're normally the ones to lock in. It's going to be the ones to go for that night. Makes sense because you don't want your goalie out there all morning, when it's a game coming on later on that night. Exactly. So, like I said, normally it's the first goalie off the ice for morning skate. That's how you find that out. Daily face-offs is another place that you can go try to figure out the goalies and things like that. But if I am picking a goalie, I like both goalies here. Both should see a ton of shots. I would go with Philly's goalie. I think they do pick up the win. Like I said, should see a ton of shots. And, if you play on DraftKings, you got a ton of bonuses. You got the shot bonuses there where if they get, I think, 30 to 35 shots, you get a bonus there. Also, you got the block bonuses there. Shane Ghost, I like him. I think he's good for the block bonus for Philly as a defensive player. Yeah, you got a lot of different bonuses there that you're looking for. And again, with Crosby, you already know probably he's going to pick up the shot bonus. But don't sleep on that second line from Pitt as well with Malkin and Russ. They play really well together, especially the games where they didn't have Sid the Kid. I do think that you can look at that second line as well for some lower ownership off of that top line from
Love
Pitt.
it. Love it. And I guess we should address, first of all, Ryan Johnson, thank you in the chat box. I did have a bad week of NFL. It was probably my worst week since maybe week 3. It was a brutal. I had a great Saturday. I should actually take that back. I had a fantastic Saturday. Sunday, absolutely stomped my balls right off the grid. I mean, it was painful. So thank you for bringing that up. And you're absolutely right. Real quick, I guess before we move off of this game, a couple of questions. One, value plays that you might like, some salary savers that you might like. I guess I'll have another one in here. Obviously, we could need to talk about the different format on FanDuel, adding a couple utility spots. And 3, after you address those 2, who do you like to win? We got Philly as 1.5 goal favorites, and I love the value you get in hockey betting. Plus 235, minus 1.5. What do you think about all 3 of those if I didn't just pile on?
Well, I did. I was doing some digging, and I was trying my best to find some value plays that I like. Again, like I said, you could play Rodriguez just because of who he's skating with. At 3,600 on FanDuel, I don't know his price on DraftKings, probably like 2,500 or something crazy like that. But I honestly am looking at value from some of these other games, specifically this next game. And I'm going to talk about a stack there that you can get really cheap. But I don't have a ton of value plays from this game that I personally like. If I'm picking a winner, I think I'm going to go with Philly. Like I said, I think that top power play unit is just – again, just really nice. Like the year that they had last year is really, really, really nice.
Right.
I didn't have Philly that high last year. I honestly didn't. But it's just coming from one, I just got to get to know the sport a lot better. I'm year 4, year 5 in. So I'm not like the best. Yeah, 2,900 on DK. So thanks for that. But I love this. I love this sport. I love this game. I love to be able to grind it. So, yeah, man, we had some great wins last year, but like I said, I don't really have a ton of value. Like I said, I think Philly wins the game.
Do you think the 1.5? If we look at that 1.5 spread, any value saying they win by more than a goal? If they win by 2 goals, you're getting plus money if you take Philly, or do you think Pittsburgh keeps this within 1 goal?
I honestly think this first game is going to be the lower scoring game. I can see it going 2-1. but I can also see it being like 3-5 or 7-1.
Yeah, well, it's the first game, and everyone should know that it's the first set of games in the year. We got to see how all these teams react. Are they playing? Am I correct? They're playing in hub cities.
So okay, all right. So that was another thing I wanted to break down to you guys. So if you don't know how the regular season is going to go, I have it brought up here, so I'm gonna read it off to you guys. So basically what they're doing is they've split the divisions into 4 different divisions this year. And this is the first time that so far that I've seen that they've done the 4 different divisions. So the North Division is mainly going to be all Canada teams because they have the border. What was it? The border crossing, something where they can't leave Canada, basically. So they're going to, and they broke it down into Central, East, Northwest. But like I said, the North is all Canada teams. Then you have the East, the Central, and the West divisions. And basically what you're doing is that you're going to be playing everyone in your division only. So they won't be traveling outside of their division. Like you won't have the Boston Bruins playing the Carolina Hurricanes because that's the East and the Central division game, and it just won't happen. So all of these teams will stay within their divisions, which basically is just trying to limit the possible outbreak of COVID. So I don't hate that. It's gonna kind of suck because we love to see some of these different teams battle up against some of these other teams, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the playoffs go because it's still the same format from last year, 16-team format. Basically, the top teams of each division get to play the lower seed, and it go on and so forth from there. So to see how it's going to break down to have some of these other teams play against these other divisions, I guess that'll happen like after like the division rounds probably. But it sucks because again, we like to see some of these other teams play, you know, the Minnesota Wilds and the San Jose Sharks and the New York Rangers, and we don't want to see these teams playing each other 8 and 9 times, but that's what we get this season. Other than that, we talked about the postponements of games, which Dallas, if you haven't been following, they had like 8 players, 6 players test positive for COVID. So their January 8th game was postponed. The Sharks season opener game was postponed, pushed back to February 1st due to the indefinitely banned sports in California. So it's been some changes that we're gonna have to get used to. Like I said, I think the biggest one is just seeing the teams play each other over and over and over and over and over again, which is gonna get repetitive.
It might help us handicap things because my boy Akbar asked the best way to handicap the NHL. And honestly, I'm not an NHL expert. I'm fairly new to it. So I would say what I say about everything else. Listen to people who know the sport, get as much data as you can. When they're playing teams over and over again, you just get a shit ton of data, right? I mean, you get as much data as you – you know, it's like for me, like, you know, I date a girl a couple of times. I've gotten all the data that I need to get. It's time to get the hell out of my house. You know what I mean? I've gotten all my data. Get the hell out. But no, that's the best way. Get as much data as you can. And we're going to be doing a ton of these shows. And as I just look at it from a better perspective, I love all this value. So if I think a team's going to win and I hear people who know better say this team's going to win, I'll take a shot that they win by 2 goals. You're going to see a lot of this -1.5 on hockey. And I'm just shocked by, I could take Philly -1.5 plus 235. So, hey, they go ahead and sign me up, you know what I mean? So it'll be a lot of fun. Ryan Johnson says he knows the sport. Take the parlay, Oilers money line, Flyers money line, Canadians money line. Big payday. I like it. And I might try to juice it up and take the spread if I'm getting those plus numbers. So that's how I'll approach it because, I like to take some chances. Scared money don't make money. Damn right. So is there anything else we want to go Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, or are we ready to move on to the next game?
I think we're ready to move on because I do have something I do want to talk about. I'm glad he brought up the Canadian money line. Go ahead and do the intro, and then I'll jump into it once you're done.
Yep. Next in rotation, we've got Montreal at Toronto. Over under 6. We're sitting at 6, just like the first game here. You've got Toronto favored by 1.5 goals. DFS wise, betting wise, what do you like in this game?
Man, I like a lot about this game. We are normally knowing Anderson to be a really, really solid goalie. But man, last year Toronto struggled uh, with the goaltending problems that they had last year. He had some games where he was giving up goals. Now he still did really well fantasy wise because he was still getting wins in some of those games. But he had some games where he was still giving up some goals. So if we could see Montreal score a couple goals in this game, I really, really love that top line. Gallagher, Tatar, Weber, love that stack for Montreal. Now, if we want to talk about some value, and I'm going straight into it, uh, yeah, inconsistent. That's the biggest thing for him last year, being super inconsistent. Frederick Anderson, is who we're talking about. If you guys are wondering, yeah, like I said, he just has his moments where he shows up and who knows. But and the year before that, that wasn't the case. It was one of the guys that we were rostering at 9K, 8,400. Didn't matter what the price was. It was one of the people that we wanted to get, especially in the matchup where we knew that the other team were going to take a ton of shots at the goal. Now, I don't know about the shots that's going to come from Montreal, but I do know that, like I said, that top line is going to take a ton of shots. I do love that top line. But if I
too, because Toronto's priced higher than Montreal. Toronto,
yes.
So we're finding value here on Montreal, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Love it. Keep going. Sorry, I cut you off. I was just wanted to.
No, you good, man. But the line that I wanted to talk about, of course, we know the Tavares line, the Matthews line, and if my guy Matty Ice was on the stream or could catch this stream, he would tell me, "Do not talk about Joe Thornton," but he know I'm gonna bring him up. Oh, Smokey, Joe Thornton, man, playing on the top line. He's washed. I mean, Jesus.
I love when the comment section plays in and I can pop it up.
Yeah, man. But he keeps coming back, man. He keeps playing on these top lines. I don't know how in the fuck he keeps getting up there, but they keep on throwing him on these top lines. And not even like they're not putting. It wasn't like he didn't play on a solid line last year. He did. He actually did. It just every game where I had him pegged as a cheapskate, he would do absolutely shit. Every blue moon, you can catch him doing something. But I think he actually has a small chance skating with Matthews and Marner and Raleigh. That is a really solid line to skate with if you're going to skate with anybody. If you're going to be 80, 70, 100 years old and want to skate with somebody, them the people you want to skate
with. When I try
to
skate, man, my ankles go sideways and I feel like I broke them when I get home. So I can roller skate with the best of them. I dominated the roller rink in the 80s. Let me just tell you that right now. I got down, played that sock tag, shoot the duck. Me and those girls, I would slow dance backwards with them girls to boys to men. You know I was getting down there. But ice skating? No. You're skating on swords, for fuck's sake. Like you're on a sword. Like if you just fall upside down, you could cut someone's head off. It's crazy. Yeah. We're gonna look back one day and go, "What the hell was going on with hockey?" But I love Joe Thornton, by the way, 4,200 on FanDuel. I don't know if that's worth a sniff. Maybe he'll be in one of my lineups if I play 10 lineups or more.
That's a super dart throw there. Okay. I really wouldn't play him because then you use up a center spot and it's just other centers that you could use.
Well, on FanDuel you get two utilities, so maybe for some value, like a utility spot. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the puck goes off his skate and hits Matthews, and Matthews scores, and boom, there's your assist. So
there you go. Exactly.
But the line that I really wanted to talk about is this Toronto third line. Kerfoot, Hyman, and Ilya. Now it's gone. I have them down right now as a sneaky stack because, of course, I think you can play any of those lines from Toronto. And then, like Ryan said, their defense was a problem last year, which is why I really, really love that top line from Montreal. And then, like I said, if Anderson started, you never know which Anderson is going to show up. So if you get the shitty Anderson, you're in for a nice day, and you'll get some lower ownership because that's the great thing about hockey. The ownership of these players versus the ownership on NBA 5-game slate is going to be totally different.
Right.
way different. Yeah, we do got to watch for that news curfew. If he doesn't play, then I'm probably out on that line. And I really like him and Hyman because they are on the second power play unit together as well. So if you didn't want to take the full top line, well, the third line from Toronto, you can just play those two together and then get you some other power plays around it, some higher price plays around it because they're cheap. But again, it's just probably going to be that top power play unit for Toronto, the Matthew Tavares, Marner, and I believe it's Raleigh. Tyler, yes. If he goes to that line, then I don't have a problem going with Tyler. Or if he goes to that third line, because like I said, I do think that line is sneaky. We have some games where you go into it thinking that top line is going to do everything, or the top power play unit is going to do everything because they have all the nice players and all the scores, and fuck around third or fourth line, do all the scoring for that game, and it's like, what the fuck? So if you have, like me, I have like 10 tickets for opening day. So of course I'm gonna take a shot with some of these cheaper lines, cheaper stacks, just so I can fit some of the big name players around them.
So am I crazy here thinking this game feels like an over? You're getting over 6. It's kind of juiced at 120 at Bet Online, but over 6, everything I'm hearing feels like there should be goals scored in this game.
Yeah, definitely should be goals scored in this game. I do like the over for that. Like I said, I don't know what went on with Frederick Anderson last year. Maybe he gets his shit together this year, but again, I really love everything about this game. And honestly, I like it a tad bit more than this next game that we're going to talk about.
Real quick before we move on to the next game, unless there's anything else, just to answer everyone's questions, after we get through the 5 games of hockey, I'm going to touch on some NBA stuff here afterwards. So we'll do NBA right after this and get our thoughts on NBA as well. We're going to get hockey first, then NBA. We're going to double dip, if you will, double wrap it, if you will, which doesn't always work. They tend to both break when you do that. So it's better just to pull and pray, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. So,
before we move, another thing, if you do just like you want to stack Toronto and then take a one-off, come back the other way, Gallagher is the dude that I will lock in. That's one of my favorite plays on the slate. 39, 21, and 11 versus this team last year. The game where he had 11 fantasy points, he still put up 5 shots. If you're planning on DraftKings, then you get the shot bonus for that. So, I mean, I love him in all formats because you can get that shot bonus on DraftKings, but you also have the goal assist upside as well. So now you got that he's taken 7 shots. So you got the shot bonus there, which is like 3 points. He scored 2 goals or scored a goal and got 2 assists. Like, again, you're looking at one of those 39 fantasy point games that he put up from last year. 7 shots on goal, 1 goal, 2 assists. Love him. Really nice price for him on DraftKings. So, yeah, I really, really like Gallagher.
Nice.
Probably my favorite plays on the slate.
Nice. And real quick before we move on, looking at the goalies for each team, we talked about it. It looks like there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. Do we have much interest in the goalies if that's the case?
To be contrarian, if I were you, I'd take Montreal goalie. Going to see a ton of shots. Even if he gives up some goals, you hope that they limit the amount of goals that he gives up and can squeeze you out the shot. The block shot bonus. So for the goalie, and if they sneak in a win, like somebody said, the money line for Montreal, so they sneak out a win, boom. You even better, because that means he's gonna get 30 plus save and get the win bonus as well. So you'll get the save bonus and you'll get the win bonus. So
I find it interesting too when you look at like on FanDuel, for example. I'm just looking on the FanDuel side here. All 3 goalies for Toronto, well, 3 of the 4, I guess the other one got waived, are all the same price. Campbell, Dell, and Anderson are all at 8,200. So they're just deciding whichever goalie starts is basically the same player, and the same with Price and Allen for Montreal. They're sitting at 75. I just think that's interesting, but Yeah, I mean, if so, maybe for some value, you're looking at Carey Price for all the shots that Toronto's probably going to take, is what you are telling me here. I like it. Let's move on to our third.
If Allen starts, I don't hate Allen either. Allen has his games. He has his moments where he can surprise you.
Beautiful.
So I wouldn't hate that either. But I think it'd probably be Price, probably the one that you would want.
Now our third game, and I know you've got some stuff you like here, and we've got Tampa Bay as a 1.5 point favorite. You saw his jersey at the beginning of the show. Dion is a Chicago sports fan. He loves them shitty Bears and those shitty Bulls and these fucking Blackhawks. Here we are, Blackhawks, Tampa Bay. What do you like in this one?
Man, this is honestly the game that you're going to. It's kind of one-sided here. Chicago went into rebuild mode. They got rid of a lot of key players that they had last year that actually kind of helped them try to make a push for another Stanley Cup. But they got rid of a lot of players. They're going in a different direction. Kept Kanan and Toes, but I don't know, man. My thing is it's just going to be bad from start to finish. Like, I don't trust our goaltending at all. I just don't. Yeah, Cooch is on IR right now, so they're gonna be without him. But I honestly, I think even with Cooch out, it doesn't make a big difference. Point loves this matchup. Braden Point in the games versus Chicago last year. Let me get this pulled up because I wanted to talk about this. I'll have him in a ton of my lineups. 16, 17, but the year before that, 28 and 25. He really likes this matchup. Goal assist upside. Again, like I said, I'm not scared of this rebuild Chicago team. So I could see him putting up 2 goals, maybe an assist. That's what we start talking about prize picks there. I would love to take the overs for Point. Probably Hedman. I definitely think he gets the block shot bonus for a defenseman. Like that second line. I've always liked Blake Coleman. He's won me money since being with New Jersey. I don't have a problem with the line that he's on, that third line. Goodrow, Gordy. I mean, again, you can play any one of these Tampa Bay lines and it would not. Yeah, you'd be good either way. But my favorite line, like I said, is that Point line, Platt, and Stam with Hedman. I would just go there and start your day there and then build around that.
Cheap. He's cheap too. He's cheap. Well, he's a defenseman, but 6,800 for a defenseman seems high, but he's a scoring defenseman, right? If I remember correctly. I'm not a hockey expert.
A blocking defenseman. So again, like you love that they got the goal upside, but you really want the block shots as well too.
Gotcha.
So that alone is a lot. But Strong playing on that top line, I don't hate him. He's cheap. I believe he's like 4,200 or something like that as well. But he's playing on the top line, and he's also, if I'm not wrong, I believe he's on the top power play unit as well. So they get on the power play, he got a chance to score. So I do like that.
Nice. Perfect. We had a question in here asking who the goalie for the Black. I'm looking at the goalie pricing. Oh my God, the Chicago goalies are dirt cheap. Someone asked Crawford.
They suck.
I don't see who it is. So we've got Colin Delia, Malcolm Subban, Kevin Lanikin, and Matt Tompkins. Who do we think? Starting here? Do we have any idea?
Well, Tompkins was placed on waiver, so it's definitely not going to be him.
Okay, there we go.
It's probably going to be between Delia or Subban, but neither are that great.
Yeesh.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Somebody just said, Ryan said he think that
Subban is not trash.
I didn't say he was trash. I didn't say he was trash, but
he's not very good is what he said.
Yeah. Like, you got to catch him on a really good day.
Oh, he meant to say is trash.
Oh, he said it's trash. Oh, okay. I was about to say,
It's trash. Seen a lot of Subban hate out here. Sorry, Subban. I don't know enough to say that you suck,
bro,
but
he ain't it. He ain't it.
I hope you do suck because I'm stacking the shit out of Tampa Bay in my lineup. So yeah, I hope
that's the easiest money line that you can lock in for the day.
There you go. I love that. And that's locking that money line for Tampa Bay as well. Anything else on this game? Value plays? Anything else before we move on to the fourth game?
Pat Maroon was one of my favorite value cheapskates last year. He's going to be skating on, I believe, the second power play unit for Tampa Bay. Like I said, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, it don't matter. Just play anybody. But like I said, when you're starting your lineups come Wednesday, this is where you want to start. You want to start with Tampa Bay. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me see.
Someone's asking, do we talk about the Oilers? That's going to be the next game. We've just gone all games in rotation. So we did Pittsburgh, Philly, Montreal, Toronto. We're on Chicago, Tampa Bay right now.
Dominic is the one player that you want from Chicago. Dominic Kubalik. That's the GOAT right there from Chicago. What is his price right now? I think he's fairly cheap on both sites.
5,500 on FanDuel. Looks like a good price on FanDuel.
Yeah, and I believe he's like 4,900 on DraftKings, which is stupid crazy. Last year versus this team, he went off for like 47 fantasy points or something like that. So young, talented, nice skater. 4,900 on DraftKings. That is a crazy price. This dude has crazy time crazy upside. Let me get back to
Kirby Dodge. I've seen the question from Ryan. It shows him on IR. He's going to miss 4 to 5 months. He had surgery on his wrist in December, so he's not playing in this game. So we don't want any Kirby Dodge. I believe
we're not going to have any.
He's going to be out till looks like April or May. For Kirby
we
Dodge.
do have. I believe he's a rookie. I don't know. I have to look it up. I don't really follow like the college sports of hockey and things.
How could you? How could you follow college hockey? Like honestly, I'd rather watch my grandma on a bukkake video than watch college hockey. Swear to God on my life, I would. Like that's straight up the truth. Straight up the truth. As disturbing as that would be.
If you look at this top line on DraftKings, Kane is the only one priced up at 7,100. The Brinkat 4,200, and like I said, Strome, I believe he's 3,100.
Damn.
So you can get that top line real cheap over on DraftKings.
And we should talk real quick. If maybe it's your first time playing hockey DFS, it's really important to correlate when we're talking about playing the top line and playing these guys together. It's because, they are talking about pausing the NBA season. So we're going to still cover the NBA today as long as it's still going on. But it's important in hockey to stack, play players who are playing on the same line or playing in that power play line because, you get an assist and then a goal. You jump up the leaderboards. You want those correlating points. It's probably outside of like esports where there's a lot of correlation. Hockey, it's the most important where you really want to stack these players together that are in the same line so that when there is a goal scored, you're not just getting the points for the goal, you're getting the assist or maybe 2 assists, etc. Right?
Yeah. So what it is what you want to do is like what I found to be the best strategy is stacking on FanDuel and just taking the people who are going to score goals on DraftKings because you have these different bonuses that you get for shots and for block shots, because you have wingers that could get 3 block shots, and just by the luck of the puck just fucking hitting them. It wasn't that they were trying to, but you have a winger get 3 block shots and they've scored a couple goals. Like you're up the charts on DraftKings. On FanDuel, mainly your points are coming from those goals and assist correlations. So you get like 12 points for a goal on FanDuel, whereas you get like 3 on DraftKings. Then you get like 8 points for an assist on FanDuel, whereas you get like 1 on DraftKings or something like that, 1.5 or something like that. So it matters more stacking on FanDuel than it do on DraftKings. Not to say that you can't stack on DraftKings. You definitely can do it and take down. But don't be surprised if you see some people that have a whole bunch of just fucking random players and they end up winning the tournament. Well, shit, they got 3 players that scored 2 or 3 goals, and then they got the defensive players that scored a goal and then got the block bonus, and then you got your goalie that got the block bonus and the win and shit like that. So again, that's where the bonuses matter more on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, your goal and assist matter more, and the shutout bonus matters more on FanDuel than it does on DraftKings, because it's like 1 point or 2 points or something like that. On FanDuel, it's like 12 points for the shutout. So, or 8 points for the shutout or something like that. So you're getting like 20 points just for your goalie for a shutout and a win.
Right.
So that alone is going to help you. And you're not even counting the block shots that they have when the 20 points is added to whatever the block shots that they have on goal is.
Right.
So that's where that shit matters a lot more.
Absolutely.
Goals matter a fuck ton more on FanDuel. Stacks matter more on FanDuel. Your people who score more goals and get more block shots and have shutout upside and block upside from a goalie standpoint matters more on DraftKings.
Right. And a couple just here from the chat box. I'm sure Donnie's reaction, Ryan, was much happier than mine. I obviously look. I knew it was dicey taking the Titans, but I'm taking the value. To me, they were the best team with the value to have. If I'm getting a plus number, I took it. So I'm sure Donnie was a lot fucking happier than I am. Told the God we are going to be doing this a ton more often. We're going to be going live a lot. This is our first show, doing this, and we're going over hockey. We'll cover NBA as well when this is done. And Keeg, you are absolutely right. You don't need that. That's one of the myths in NFL DFS, that you need all these correlations or stacks. You really don't. You just want the highest individual points. But in hockey, like you said, on FanDuel, it's very, very important. Moving on to Vancouver and Edmonton, tied for the lowest total. You got some 5.5s and 6s, same with St. Louis, Colorado. You got Edmonton favored by 1.5 goals. You get a plus 246 on that right now over at Heritage. What do we like in this game, DFS wise?
Me, Jesus is all I got to say.
My boy.
Y'all that don't know, I'm talking about my boy Connor McDavid, one of my other favorite players. Since I first started watching hockey, of course, it's been a love of him. But when I first started watching hockey, it's fucked up for me, because when I first started watching hockey, I watched it in the middle of a playoff series. Actually, it was the game-winning series of the Blackhawks Stanley Cup. I believe it was 2015. I want to say, yeah. So I started watching it when they fucking won the Stanley Cup, and that's when I was like, "Oh, I gotta get into this shit." So hell yeah, let's do this, and that's what I've been into it ever since then. But man, Connor McDavid has won me a lot of money. So
my boy Chiesa. It's my boy Chiesa. Yeah. That's who it was. Remember, I was asking, who the fuck is that guy I always play with? McJesus. That's who it is. It's my boy Chiesa. And it gets him that assist and gets me that money. He didn't have a great year last year, but
look, I'm telling you, anybody that skates, and we were talking about this before the pod, so let's just go ahead and get right on into it. That top line for Edmonton, fuck yeah. What's up, Whispers? McDavid, Ryan, Nugent Hopkins, RNH is what we're going to be calling him throughout the season. So if you don't know, that's who we're talking about, Ryan Nugent Hopkins. And then on the top line this year, probably starting out the year with McJesus, is going to be Casson the Assassin. Love this dude. Anytime he skates with McJesus, you want to try to lock him in. We were talking about it. You said his price on FanDuel was what again?
So this is Zach Kassian you're talking about, or Chiesa? Because there's two different ones.
Yeah, Zach Kassian.
He's cheap. I just had him 4,000 on FanDuel.
Look, he's 3,500 on DraftKings. You can lock him in on both sites, playing with that top line. Again, if you skating with McJesus, you automatically have goal assist upside just skating with this dude. He is one of the coldest players that you will ever watch in the game, man. But yes, Draisaitl as well. Come on, man. After the season he had last year, I mean, what do you not like about this guy? He's gonna be skating on the second line with Yamamoto and Khan coming over from Chicago. Then he got Larson and Barry as the defenders on that line. Man, listen, I like him more skating on that power play unit. I do think that the line that he's skating on is actually a decent line. Yamamoto can score. I liked him a lot last year. He was one of our cheap skates. I don't know if he's playing on a power play unit this year. Somebody, can you look that up for me? But like I said, Cassian, that's the one that you want. Like I said, 3,500 on DraftKings. You play him with another player that's stupid cheap that we're going to talk about this next game. That's going to be a great stack to have. Excuse me.
I like that. But what's up, our boy DFS Space and DFS Whispers, other guys who provide great content out there on YouTube. Someone asked, does BK have his own YouTube channel? No, he's too ugly to have his own, so he has to come on my channel. That's how that works. No, I won't let him go anywhere else. I have too much work for him to do over here. He's got to stay busy over there.
Yeah, that's true, though. He won't.
And I saw a question about James Neal. Doesn't look like he's day-to-day right now. He's been hurt. They expect him to be out for a while. So James Neal doesn't look like he's going to be there.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, say he could be out long term. So I wouldn't even look for him to try to play that first game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just keep it at. But the thing about Cassian is, like I said, we already talked about just skating with McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but also against this team last year in the 3 meetings, a 17, a 23, and a 3. You will take that skating with McJesus anytime, any day, even if they're not skating on a power play unit. That is the only time me personally, that's the only time I'll take a player, as long as they skating with somebody that raises and elevate their plays, like Connor McDavid can do for a player skating with him. That's the only time I'll take them at a very cheap price without playing on a power play unit. But that second line for Vancouver, I wouldn't sleep on that. The Horvat line with Pearson and Hoglander, don't know who this guy is, but he was good enough to make it to the second line and skate with some pretty talented.
He's minimum salary. I don't know who Niles Hoglander is, but he's 3,000. That's where he's at. If he does something, that could be the pain play of the day. There you go. Looking for
definitely could be. Pearson is a really solid play. Let me see. He had really solid history versus his team as well last year, if I'm not mistaken. It was a couple people that I wanted to talk about specifically from this game. Horvat was one of the people. Love him. But if you look at their prices on DraftKings, Pearson is 4,100. Like you said, Hoglander, he's 2,900. And then if you wanted to take Horvat, he is 5,900. So he's the most expensive play on that line. And again, you're getting some of these lines at some cheap prices. Yeah. So if you got the money to play a couple lines, definitely take some shots there. Because that line, I do like that line. And then the second power play unit for the Canucks, I do like as well.
What about this Alexander Edler? Looks like he has high shot upside from a defenseman. He's 4,300 on FanDuel, average, nearly 13.
My favorite defenseman's on the slate. Love him in all formats. Going to be on that second play unit as well, and playing on the top line with Peterson, Miller, and Bacher. I mean, what's not to like about that? Love it. He normally gets that shot bonus, the block shot bonus as well. I believe he did a couple times for us last year. One of my favorite players to go to win some money. Again, one of my Matty Ice plays. My guy loved this dude last year. He won us a ton of money. Let me see who's on this second unit really fast.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. They asked who Jalevi's price is, and doesn't look high. I can't even find a fucking guy.
Right.
Uh,
Who is this?
Jalevi. Apparently, he plays for Vancouver. Yeah, I don't know.
He not. Well, right now, I'm gonna tell you, he's probably not in the.
I don't see him, but I am getting old, and I tend to I can miss things with these old ass eyes, but I don't see him.
Right.
I don't see him.
I'm pulling up the Canucks right now.
Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, I don't see any.
He's not on the line.
Okay.
He's not on the line.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that second power play unit is interesting with Pearson, Eller, and Smith. I do like that combination there. If you want to, I'm not real big on Goddard and Varen, but I do like those other three plays on that second power play unit. Like I said, both goalies are terrible in this game. So if you wanted to take the over in this game, I would not be shocked if it hit the over.
Yeah, 5.5, getting a lot of 5.5s and a little bit of sixes over there at Wager Web, where my guy Larry works. Love Larry from Wager Web. Yeah.
Smith's price, he is. I know he's like 4,400 or something like that on FanDuel. For DraftKings, he is 5,300. So it's a big difference between pricing and probably play him over on FanDuel.
Gotcha.
But you can get lower ownership at 5,300.
Real quick for Jamal, we're going to go over the last game, St. Louis and Colorado, and then we're going to jump into NBA, just to let you guys give you a little update on where we're at. And thank you all, by the way, for joining. Tall the God, Jason, our boys, the Whispers, DFS Space, Ryan, Keeg, all you guys. We really appreciate all of you being in here on our first. We've done some live shows before, and of course we've done shows together, but this new format now, this daily thing we're going to have in the middle of the day, it's going to be a lot of fun. Anything else to add on Vancouver, Edmonton?
Last thing before we move on, like I was telling you about Pearson, last 4 games last year versus this team, 29 to 38, a 5 and a 12. Again, 4,100. I like it. Playing on that second line, that connects second line, Horvat, Pearson, Hoglander, and Hughes. We know Hughes is a nice young stud defenseman that they really like there in Vancouver. So I do not mind him as well going on that second line. But let's go ahead and move to this last game. I've been waiting to talk about this one.
St. Louis, Colorado, in between. First of all, thank you all so much. About 45 to 50 people watching live. Most of you hitting that thumbs up. If you're watching this on replay later, all this hockey stuff plays for Wednesday. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Click the bell icon so then when we go live, you get a notification in case you don't see it, because I'm still figuring out how to make all that show up. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with a lot of this stuff. Trying to make it Akbar asks, is there a way to make money weekly on FanDuel and DraftKings? Yeah, got to watch our show, man. And of course, it's DFS. It's DFS. So start with 50-50 cash games. Start with single entries. It's always easy. People always want to go straight to those GPPs because with the huge prize pools, you're like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. You got to keep in mind, there's people who just mass enter, groups of people who mass enter those things and have every sort of stupid combination you could have. And a big thank you to Robert Williams for joining us for the first time. I appreciate that. Don't forget, if you're new, hit subscribe. I appreciate all that. And again, all of our hockey player pools and basketball player pools, baseball, football still going on, all on Draft Dashboard in that video description below. You can click that link and try it for 30 days for $1. Just something to keep an eye on there. So let's jump to St. Louis, Colorado. I know Dion has some good value players in this game. The lowest total on the slate at 5.5. We've got Colorado favored. You get that at plus 200 at minus 1.5, or on the money line, of course, much less value here. What do you like, St. Louis, Colorado? And then after this game, guys, we'll get to NBA.
Yeah. I think me and Ron Johnson just became best friends. Yes, I do think that this Colorado-St. Louis game hits the over. We were talking about that before we got on the pod. Of the 5 games last year, these teams met. It was what 3, 5. No, hold on. Let me pull it back up for us.
Pull it back up. You mentioned you and Ryan Johnson just became best friends. Does that mean your guys' favorite non-pornographic magazine to jerk off to is Good Housekeeping, just like the guys in Step Brothers?
Probably.
You guys want to call each other Night Hawk and Wild? I love all that. I just watched that movie last night. Had a little happy lettuce and watched it. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and I set up the NBA Jam game. I'll tell you what, that arcade NBA Jam is so much damn fun. It's stupid, but I suck at it. I was so good as a kid. What the hell happened? Anyways, moving on to St. Louis, Colorado. Go ahead.
But so the totals for the games last year: 4, 7, 10, 8, and a 3. So I do like the chances of this game going over last year. The teams haven't changed a big much. I will say that whoever did the pricing for DraftKings for this St. Louis team, thank you, because Mike Hoffman is 3,200 on DraftKings. He's 6,000 on FanDuel, which is fairly priced. It's a good price for him. But on DraftKings, this dude is 3,200.
Damn.
He was a late signing. Right now, I have him playing on per daily face-off. I have him playing on the second line, which is the Robert Thomas line with Jaden Schwartz, and I have him on the top power play unit with Braden Skeen, Ryan O'Reilly, David Perron, and Torrey Krug. So if that's going to be the case, yeah, Steen is out. But if that's going to be the case, and Mike Hoffman is going to be on that top power play unit at 3,200, I'm going to have 100% of that on DraftKings. I'm going to have some exposure on FanDuel, but 3,200.
For comparison, he's 6,000 on FanDuel, so he's upper middle on FanDuel and way down at the bottom on DraftKings, so you can see where you're getting your value.
Mm-hmm. And he has goal assist upside. I really like that play, 3,200 on DraftKings. But it's really going to be the Colorado side. McKinnon. That's just, again, if you're starting anywhere, you're starting with locking in Nathan McKinnon. Probably can play him naked. Honestly, I don't never have a problem playing him by himself.
Sounds like a party to me. These hockey guys are in shape. Why the hell not? I don't know. I'm getting old. I got to try anything at this point. That's it.
Burakovsky, man, he came on in the playoffs last year and just really lit it up. So him skating with McKinnon and Rantanen, really like that. Then the defenses of Maker and Tays don't have a problem with either of them. Kadri, hell yeah, that's a good play. Like that, love that. The second line for Colorado as well. Like you said, Kadri, Landeskog, and Sad. I don't know if Sad is going to play. So we got to wait for that news to see if he's going to be in. I think right now he's day-to-day. But Gerard, really, really, really like him as well. If you're looking for another solid defenseman. Let me see. Get that pulled up for y'all really quick.
Bolin Byram. Yeah. If he is, he's away. He's day to day, not injury related. On the Bolin Byram question, join their camp. He has to complete a 7-day quarantine, so yeah, he won't be eligible to play in this game because that will be on Wednesday, so he shouldn't be there.
Yeah. So
why don't we do this? We could put a bow on. Was there anything else on this game?
Just Ryan Graves. It was Ryan Graves, not Gerard. But I do like Gerard because he's playing on that second power play unit and on that second line with Kadri, like Landeskog. But it's Graves.
Okay.
Defenseman for Colorado. Really like him as well. Should be fairly cheap and could get you the block bonus. OZ Dogs. If we talking about a favorite goalie, right now we don't really have goalies. We gotta wait till the day up. But like I said, Montreal goalie is would be the contrarian goalie. Gonna see a ton of shots. Can get you the block bonus on DraftKings. But if you're looking for the win, it's probably going to be Philly's goalie, whoever it is, Hart or whoever there. And then Tampa Bay's goalie.
Vasilevsky, I hope he starts. That guy always scores a ton of points for me, but it looks like it's between him and McElhinney to see who's going to start. And again, you got to wait for that morning skate before you know. That's one of the caveats about hockey, and just putting a nice bow on it. So what would you say your favorite stack of the day is for Wednesday?
If I'm picking my favorite stack, just my absolute favorite, again, I'm just making it easy for y'all. I'm going with Tampa Bay, top line, Platt, Point, Stamkos, and Hedman.
Love it. I love it. That's hockey. Let's move on to the NBA. Is everyone ready for some NBA? Let's do some NBA real quick. First off, the first news of the day, the Dallas game canceled, so they will not be playing that Dallas and New Orleans game. So we're down to 7 games. So let's just start real quick. I'll go over point guards here. Let me get my position optimizer up in my player pool. Again, I have a full player pool, timestamp, all that draft dashboard link in the video description below. 30 days for $1. We'll have a full hockey player pool set as well. I don't think the tool is up just yet for hockey, but we'll have that up in the next couple of days. So Dame's in a great spot against Toronto. Toronto's playing a back-to-back. So we've Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, they have not been defending the same. Toronto has not looked like the same team. Dame's got legit 60-point upside tonight. Toronto 20th against opposing point guards. I like Damian Lillard quite a bit. Brogdon against Sacramento. So far this year, no team in the league is allowing more points to opposing point guards than the Sacramento Kings. We know we got De'Aaron Fox sitting in there with, he'll leave with a tummy ache. He'll leave with his hammy. He's a good player. He's a good young player and has some upside. The problem is he just can't stay healthy. But I do like Malcolm Brogdon. Trae Young looks like he is going to give it a go. They had to do x-rays on that wrist after the last game, but they went ahead and clean it. And for you hockey fans, goodbye. We'll see you for the next hockey one. Thank you for stopping by for hockey. Yes, this would be the NBA segment now. I don't know why you had to be such a dick about it, but okay. See you later. Okay. I mean, what the hell do you want? It's damn funny, man. We have to have some fun. LaMelo Ball. Look, this kid's going off. Triple-double. It's a straight-up Mr. Triple-double. LaMelo Ball, 7-4 FanDuel, 8K on DraftKings, or excuse me, 7K on DraftKings. LaMelo Ball just put up a 55 against, I forget who they play, but just put up a 55 with a triple. Youngest player to get a
triple. What is his brother?
No, it was his brother. It was his brother. Thank you. It was against Lonzo in New Orleans. And he went ahead and showed Lonzo why his dad was such a dumbass. You won't win a title without Lonzo. No, you won't win one with Lonzo. The dude shoots like a third grader. People who shoot like him, you shouldn't do that now. It's a different time. But back in the 80s when I was a little guy and you shot like that, you didn't want to come back out on the playground the next day. Like, you don't do that goofy ass shooting. Get the hell out of here with that.
But, hey, look, if there was any question about who is the nicer brother, now. But people have been saying LaMelo is nicer than the other two.
Close.
Yeah, bro. So
it's not even close. Like, yeah, and I wish they would. They're still bringing LaMelo off the bench, but he's playing 30 minutes. Devontae Graham, they like his defense, so he's a good defender. The problem is he can't shoot for shit. But I digress here. Chris Paul, I love the price against Washington. Again, Washington going to be shorthanded. No Russell Westbrook for Washington. He's going to be out about a week, it looks like, with that quad injury, maybe a couple of weeks. Chris Paul's at 6,900 FanDuel, 7-2 on DraftKings. Washington allowing the 7th most fantasy points in the league to opposing point guards. And, this is a massively paced up game for Phoenix. Phoenix plays at a snail's pace this year with Chris Paul and Booker. Washington plays at a much faster pace. So I do like the upside there. Just going down real quickly. I won't spend forever here. Some value guys. Cole Anthony, obviously going to see 30-plus minutes for Orlando. It's a tough matchup against Milwaukee. But he's 4-5 on FanDuel. I love that price. 5-6 on DraftKings. I'll pass. DeAnthony Melton is in and out. Of sort of the rotation. He's going to play about 20 minutes, so he does have some mid-20-point upside. He's sitting there at 3-8 on DraftKings. Ish Smith, with Westbrook out, Ish Smith and Raul Neto will get those point guard minutes for Washington. I prefer the upside of Ish Smith. He's starting to play more minutes as well. 28, 21, and 22 in his last 3. Now, I will do be forewarned. This is not your same Phoenix Suns team from years past. Phoenix is number 1 so far in this young season in terms of fantasy points allowed against opposing point guards. Then we got to get to Philly. Philly's going to have a bunch of guys. You're like, wait, who the hell is this guy? And they're going to play 20-some minutes. Now, they are getting Joel Embiid back tonight, so he will play. But Isaiah Joe played 44 minutes the last game. I mean, he's sitting here at 39. I'm not probably playing him. I know very little about Isaiah Joe, but it's just some of these guys who are getting some minutes down there. Before I go to shooting guards, you got any questions?
No, I just I see Cole Anthony still playing the minutes, but it came out, the coach had put out I think like 2 games ago or something like that when they first announced that he was starting, that he wasn't really in game shape like that, so they weren't going to like just be running him to death.
Still getting 32 minutes. 32 minutes. Yeah. So the guy's full of shit, but he's. I hate that. I hate coach speaking like, oh, there's no way he won't play 30 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't play him 30 minutes anyway.
It's like, why don't you just come here and kick my wife in the? I mean, I don't have a wife, but if I did, kick her right in the face. And we are going to get to Tyrese Maxey. Don't you worry about it, because he's got some massive upside. We'll be playing some Tyrese Maxey. I believe they have him listed as a shooting guard here on FanDuel.
Hold on. Let me address this. So real quick, Ryan, we already had this conversation, but I'm gonna go ahead and address it right now. The thing with Mr. Trubisky, here's my thing. When you put out like an hour to 2 hours before the game kicks off that you're moving on from your fucking starting quarterback in the NFL playoff game, why would you want to fucking play either? I don't have a grievance on what he did or didn't do in that game. I wouldn't want to fucking come to play either, because they knew what the fuck they were doing and he had time to see that shit.
Yeah, he did. If he wants a job next year with another team, go out and play you can't go out there and pout. You can't do it. Like, you got paid millions of dollars. Like, yeah, they don't want.
But it's not even that. It'd be one thing, bro, if he hadn't started. It'd be one thing if this was like, oh, well, we're just throwing him in because Nick Foles got hurt and he did well. You see what I'm saying? But he started out and he did well. We were 3-0 with him starting.
Yeah.
And then you pulled him for this jackass.
Yeah.
That you paid money to, where you could have got Cam Newton on a better minimum.
BDN, it's just getting in the way of his knees. He can't move around with that thing down there.
Like, fuck that shit. They all need to go. First, just like Lee just said, they all need to go. Everybody who thought Trubisky was better than Mahomes and Watson sitting there trading up to the number 2 spot need to fucking go. All of y'all need to go. Did you agree? Oh, yes, I did, sir. Well, you get your shit and you go too.
Real quick, I did not take the Bears on the spread. I said it can make sense because they've had a history of covering that spread, but if you're taking a side, you take Drew Brees at home over Mitchell Trubisky. I absolutely did not take the Bears on the spread. What I did put money on was the over, which fucking killed me because they didn't even get close. So that was the bet that I made yesterday. All right, moving on to shooting guards. Mitchell Trubisky just pisses me off. Bradley Beal, look, he's back. There's no Westbrook. He's always overpriced. Bradley Beal is consistently overpriced, especially on FanDuel. 10-1 on FanDuel, 9-9 DraftKings, but you got to have exposure. It's a smaller slate, 7 games. I don't mind it. Guys like McCollum, Booker, I think are underpriced. Both have nice matchups against Toronto and Washington. I have a little bit of Oladipo. He's still not that 50-point guy, but consistently in the 30s, low 40s, sitting there at 7,000 and 6.9 against Sacramento. Someone mentioned it. Buddy Hield's a little bit questionable. Colin Sexton, we're still waiting on news. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. NBA news, starting lineups, anything important. And it's important to go through the timeline. I get asked, hey, what about this guy? I tweeted about him about an hour ago, but in the NBA is fucking insane this year. I mean, that's why one of the advantages of doing the show later in the day, I can wake up at 4 a.m, do a show. 30 of the players I talked about are out because of COVID, or, they're like Kawhi Leonard doing macrame with their mom or whatever the hell it is that they do. The NBA is really, really a lot of moving parts this year. So it's just kind of something to keep an eye on there. So you got to keep your head on a swivel with the NBA. It's maddening this year. We're still waiting news on Colin Sexton. Dylan Brooks, he's all right. I wish that price was a little bit lower, but now we're getting to 5.9 FanDuel, 6.3 DraftKings. I could get down with that. Devontae Graham, we talked about him. Can't shoot, but he can defend. I like him more on FanDuel where you get that bonus for steals. 2 of his last 3 games against the Knicks, a 32 and a 31, sitting there at 5'6" and 5'8". Tyrese Halliburton could even see extra minutes if Buddy Hield does indeed miss tonight. 5'4" FanDuel, 6'2" DraftKings. But look at his last 3 games, 46, 37, then that 26. He's a young guy. You're going to have these awesome games where he smashes value, and you're going to have these other games where, they just fall apart, sort of like Kobe White last year for your Bulls. Tons of talent, tons of ability, but they're rookies in the NBA. You're just going to have those sorts of things happen. Damian Dotson's look, if Sexton misses, they're playing Damian Dotson a shit ton of minutes. He's at 4.9 DraftKings. He's played 76 minutes over the last 2 games. Turn that into 69 DraftKings points. You'll take that at 5.2. Our boy Tyrese Maxey played 43 minutes. Still no Ben Simmons, no Shake Milton, no Seth Curry. This guy's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. Put up a 60 in 43 minutes. No one had even barely heard of this kid. He's 4.7 DraftKings, 5.2 on FanDuel. Lots of value for Philly tonight. We mentioned the Buddy Hield. We'll have to see if he does indeed play. Guys like Kevin Huter are okay. Getting down here for value, there's not a ton that I love at shooting guard. Reggie Bullock's going to be out as well. Another guy who could see some minutes for Philly tonight is, let me know if you've heard of him, Dakota Mathias. Dakota Mathias at 4,100. Played 41 minutes the last game and put up a 26. Let's move on to small forwards. I'll try to make this all quick. You guys have hung around here for over an hour. Really appreciate all your support, liking the video, sharing it with your friends. Really do appreciate all you guys. Well, I don't know if Yogi Ferrell's going to just step in and start getting minutes over Damian Dotson, but you never know. Yogi Ferrell. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Yogi Ferrell. It pisses me off. Yogi Ferrell pisses me off. Like he really does.
Day is coming.
I don't even want to say his name. I don't even want to jinx it. Just hopefully he doesn't see the court. Okay, that's what we need. Just stay the hell off the court. Shooting guard Middleton. I like scoring guards versus Orlando. They are 6th against shooting guard small forwards. Middleton, a nice history here. 36, 34, 45 in his last 3. Like his price better on FanDuel. Gordon Hayward, his price is insane. It's insane to pay 7.9. But he has shown 60 and 50-point upside. 2 of his last 5 games, he's got a 50 and a 61. It's against the Knicks, number 1 this year against small forwards. Important to keep in mind. I think I have tempered expectations for Gordon Hayward. I don't mind RJ Barrett going the other way against Charlotte. It is a back-to-back for the Knicks. No Reggie Bullock tonight. It means even more minutes probably for RJ Barrett, and he's already playing a ton. I don't mind him at 6'9". It's crazy that we're paying that for him now, but that is the scenario. DeAndre Hunter, look, Philly is so weak in the front court. They are getting Embiid back, but other than that, they're going to be relying on Tony Bradley and Mike Scott and some of these other guys, Dwight Howard off the bench. DeAndre Hunter, it's starting to get a little steep for him, but again, we talked about, Trae Young, he's probably going to play, but he's got that hurt wrist. His last 5 games, 32, 32, 37, 35, and 39. DeAndre Hunter's been on a nice roll. I love that from Garage. Does he got a picnic basket? Hey, boo-boo. Yeah, he probably does. Fucking Yogi Ferrell. Oh, fucking son of a bitch. Michael Bridges against Washington. I don't mind that. Washington allowing the 9th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. He's at 5'7" on FanDuel, 6'1" on DraftKings, 40-point upside, plays a ton of minutes. Like his defense as well. Should be a good matchup. Anunoby's price is starting to get reasonable. Again, it is a back-to-back for Toronto, so keep an eye on that team. Hachimura, look, they're going to have to go to him in the post now. Thomas Bryant, season-ending injury. They're starting center, so now you're going to start seeing more. 6'2" is scary for DeAndre Hunter. There's absolutely no doubt about it, but nonetheless, smaller slate he's in play. Without Thomas Bryant, Hachimura came back, made a season debut a few games ago. Now we're starting to see him play around the 30s in minutes. 59 draft FanDuel points over the last 2 games, sitting at 4.9 on FanDuel, 5.5 on DraftKings. Phoenix allowing the 7th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards, power forwards. I like Rui Hachimura. Danny Green's going to play a ton of minutes at 4.8 and 4.7. I don't mind that. Cam Reddish, the same thing. Now, Cam Reddish can get you 14, and he can also get you 38 like he just did in the last game. That's the problem with Cam Reddish. But again, at 4.5, if you're playing multiple lineups, he's 5.1 on DraftKings. If he gets you 40, you'll take a shot there. Cam Johnson for Phoenix coming off the bench. Finally starting to get more consistent. 3 straight games in the 20s. Again, Washington thinner in the front court. They're already 25th in the league against small forwards, power forwards. So I don't mind that. And that's probably it for me. Derek Jones gets some minutes. Troy Brown without Westbrook. He finally got some minutes the other day. They even played Jerome Robinson. Isaac Okoro is interesting. Look, he plays. Look at his minutes the last 3 games: 28, 39, and 33. He put up 13, 20, and 7. So he's basically Tony Snell on steroids. And Bogdanovich is injured for Atlanta. That's why Reddish will play the more minutes. Thank you, Keeg, for that. I'm glad someone reminded me because I'm getting old and forget things. That's really it for me. Small forward. Let's go to power forwards real quick. Giannis, of course. Just want Orlando to keep it close. Orlando is a decent defensive team. 60, 53, 66, 62, 53 his last 5 games against Orlando. Fire up Giannis, and there's lots of value on the slate, so you should be able to afford him. Julius Randle, it is on a back-to-back. Nonetheless, Charlotte allows the second most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. They struggle against centers. Julius Randle should absolutely feast. He's been, I would say, the most improved fantasy player this year. Just like thinking, not getting too crazy here, besides maybe DeAndre Hunter. Julius Randle, man, he's been absolutely going off this year. Love me some Julius Randle. Sabonis against Sacramento. They allow the 4th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Coming off of 57 the other day, I like Sabonis. Siakam, looks like he got over all this shit that was going on with him. I do like Siakam in tonight's game. I think he's a solid play. It is a back-to-back, something to keep an eye on, but he's a younger, more athletic guy. Played 40 minutes yesterday, put up a 41. Portland, not great defensively in the interior. John Collins against Philly. Look, they have Embiid, but no one else in there. John Collins, 7-2, 7-4. 3 of his last 5 against Philly, a 40 or above, so I could go down with that. Chris Boucher is a tournament play only because, look, he could come out and play 10 minutes and get a 5 or play 29 minutes and get a 50. You just don't know, and he's priced up. He's 7-2 on FanDuel. Like, that's just not going to fucking happen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's just insane. 6-2 on DraftKings. I can get on board with that.
Hey, it's his birthday today.
Oh, there we go. Rui Hachimura?
No, Boucher.
Oh, it's Chris Boucher's birthday today. Well, did he go out last night? That's yes, and Tibbs does make us trust rostering the Knicks now. Now they got a normal coach who doesn't play these stupid rotations in New York like David Tisdale and Jeff Hornacek. It's fantastic to have a guy like Tibbs in New York. The guys are going to play. Whose birthday did you say it was? You said Chris Boucher. So did he party last night?
They played Golden State last night too.
Yeah, I don't know. That makes me like Boucher a lot worse. Me and Chris Boucher, probably I'm going to pass on that. PJ Washington, I don't mind him against the Knicks. He's playing a ton of minutes, upside 39, 32, and 49 in his last 3. Brandon Clark getting all the minutes he can handle right now for Memphis, finally, because if you remember, he'd come off the bench, play 22 minutes. Like, man, he has all this upside. Now we're seeing those minutes, and we're seeing that upside of 46 and 32 minutes over the weekend. Covington's been frustrating as shit with Portland this year, but Toronto does allow the 2nd most fantasy points in the league to opposing small forwards, power forwards. Jay Crowder for some value. Tony Bradley should see minutes at power forward again tonight. Put up a 36 the other night. He's all the way down at 3,300 on DraftKings. You want a pain play on DraftKings? Looking for some pain? Tony Bradley down there at 3,600. Davis Bertans you can play for some minutes. And that's, if you hate yourself and want to play Saric, it's too bad what's happened to Dario Saric in his career, but if you hate yourself, I guess you could play some Saric. Before I move over to center, anything you need to add on or questions you have before I go to center and NBA?
No, sir.
Boom, boom, boom. We're cruising right through it. Appreciate you guys all hanging out. 54 people live in here now. 47 thumbs up. Really appreciate you guys doing that. Super cool. And this is going to be a regular on the channel now. For our first go at this with StreamYard and using the new software, I think it's gone pretty smooth. We figured out how to put the comments up. Look, put the little comment up. Boom. I love that. That makes me, for some reason, at 40, I don't get excited that often. It only works like once or twice a week, Starting to work a little bit here. At center, of course, you like Drummond against J-Val and Memphis, a 51 and a 45 in his last 2. And John Collins would be great trade bait. I could think of a lot of teams who could use John Collins. Joel Embiid, look, a 78 and a 64 in 2 of his last 3 games against Atlanta. He's going to see the Clint Capella defense. Joel Embiid's all they got tonight. Now, the worry is, do they just get blown out, because they just don't have their roster, or is Embiid's back start to act up? How much does he want to be there without Ben Simmons, without Milton, without Tobias Harris, without all of his supporting cast. He's a mercurial creature, is Joel Embiid. He's real up and down emotionally, but if he's engaged tonight, he could have a huge game. I got him projected pretty high ownership at like 36%. So if you're looking for a fade to try to, maybe get some leverage on the field, maybe fading Embiid, going to a Miles Turner against Sacramento, who's got big upside against those centers there in Sacramento. Rashawn Holmes is battling an injury. We'll see if he plays tonight. Vooch against why can't I remember Brook Lopez's name? Brook Lopez, a 60 and a 50 his last 2 games against Brook Lopez. Milwaukee is 7th against centers, but I like skilled centers. To answer your question, the coffee and Bailey's, I had Coronas, but I ran out of them out here. I didn't know I'd drink 2 of them so quickly. So I've just been dry mouthed and no booze in my hand for like the last half hour of the show. It's been pretty painful. DeAndre Ayton against Washington. We just mentioned the injury to Thomas Bryant. So now it's Mo Wagner, etc., playing center. Do they still have Jan Mahinmi? I need to check. They still have Jan Mahinmi in Washington? Like, who else is going to play center? I know Mo Wagner. Robin Lopez. Robin Lopez. That's right. So you got some upside here against that Washington team. I like DeAndre Ayton quite a bit at 6'7", FanDuel 7-3 DraftKings. Clint Capella the other way against Embiid. Hey, his last game out that he played against Joel Embiid, all he did was put up a 60. The 2 before that, a 39 and a 38. Sitting there at 6'4" and 7K. I don't mind Clint Capella. No, that game's not there. Any center against Charlotte is in play. Mitchell Robinson, I love the upside of Robinson. Now, sometimes he frustrates you, gets you that 23, 28. But when he gets you that 45 and he's sitting there at 5-5 on DraftKings, it's really hard not to play him. His last 3 games against Charlotte, 38, 34, 45. Like Mitchell Robinson quite a bit tonight. Some value guys, Brook Lopez against Orlando. Yep, a 28, a 24, and a 30 his last 3 against Orlando. In fact, nothing less than a 24 in his last 5. Brook Lopez starting to round into form, 4,500 and 4.9 on DraftKings. I don't mind Brook Lopez. Dwight Howard should see some minutes off the bench, even though Embiid is back. He'll play his customary 20 minutes. He's got some 20-point upside or 25-point upside at 4-4. Keep an eye on Rashawn Holmes. If Rashawn Holmes does indeed miss, guess who we get to play at 4,200 on both sides? Hassan Whiteside, 50-point upside going against Miles Turner. His last 5 games against Miles Turner, 45, 35, 38, 55, 51. If Rashawn Holmes cannot go tonight, my favorite value center is going to be Hassan Whiteside. Back in Sacramento, many of you might not remember this, Sacramento is the team that he originally played for. He was on their practice squad, or the G League team, was a 2nd-round pick. So that's something interesting to keep an eye on. And then, of course, Mo Wagner, we've talked about it. 4,000 on FanDuel, 3.6 on DraftKings. He's going to see more minutes, obviously, with no Thomas Bryant. Phoenix allowing the 7th most fantasy points in the league to opposing centers. That's my quick run-through of today's NBA action. Do not forget, follow both of us at Dion Boykin1, at DFS Bachelor. News, updates, information, starting lineups for NBA, etc. Don't forget, if you want my entire player pool, timestamp when I updated it, click that link in the video description below. Try Draft Dashboard, 30 days for $1. We'll be back. So we're covered Wednesday slate today. So I don't know that we need to be back. Maybe we'll come on live Wednesday and just do a refresher Wednesday afternoon. Probably be off tomorrow. I don't think we have a need to do any of this tomorrow. Maybe I'll come on and do an NBA show just live like this in the morning or something. If you want to join, of course you can. And then Thursday, we'll be up earlier in the day. We'll let you guys all know on Twitter. Out here, it'll be scheduled. We have a 10-game hockey slate on Thursday. We'll be covering these hockey slates. For those ones when they're big like that, we'll just do that show purely for hockey, and I'll make a pre-recorded NBA one because that's a lot of hockey to get to. Again, thank you guys so much on joining us for our maiden voyage here with our new StreamYard product and doing it live like this. I think this is going to be how we do it going forward. I like this an awful lot. Appreciate all the love, all the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you guys Wednesday. We'll see you Thursday. May the fantasy gods be with you all. Good luck tonight. Goodbye, folks.